The value of time, if I were to ask you today, what is the most valuable resource in your life? Many of you would immediately think of money. Some would say health. Others might say relationships or opportunities. But the truth is, the most valuable resource you possess, the one thing that is more precious than all of those combined, is time. Money can be lost and earned again. Opportunities can be missed and eventually replaced by new ones. Even health can sometimes be restored through care and discipline. But time, once it is gone forever. Every second that passes is a piece of your life that you can never retrieve, never recycle, never live again. It is final, irreversible, and absolute. Think about it. You can save money in a bank, you can invest it, multiply it, and build wealth for the future. But there is no bank that allows you to deposit hours, no investment that allows you to double your minutes, no miracle that can add an extra day to your calendar. You were given a fixed amount of time the moment you were born, and with each sunrise and sunset, that account gets smaller. You don't see the balance, you don't know the remaining number of days, but you are spending it every single moment. This is why the value of time is far greater than the value of money, because you can never replace it once it is gone. Let me make this real for you. Imagine that every morning, someone deposited 86,400 into your bank account, but with one condition: you must use it all before midnight, or whatever remains will vanish. No carryovers, no savings. You would wake up excited, calculating how to spend it wisely, making sure not to waste a single dollar, because you know the money will reset and disappear if you don't take advantage of it. But do you realize that life already gives you something even more valuable than that? Every single day you receive 86,400 seconds. The difference is, while people would go crazy over free money, they casually throw away their seconds, wasting hours on meaningless distractions, never understanding that these seconds are far more valuable than any dollar they could ever earn. The irony is that most of us only realize the value of time when it's too late. Think about a student who wastes months of a semester without studying, only to panic in the last week before exams. Think about a professional who spends years drifting in a job without passion, suddenly realizing at 40 or 50 that they've wasted the prime of their life. Think about the countless people who wait until their health is broken before appreciating the time they had when they were strong and capable. It is often in moments of regret that we finally understand that time was the treasure we ignored. The reason time is so powerful is because it is the foundation of every achievement, every dream, every relationship, and every success. Without time, nothing is possible. You cannot build a business without investing time. You cannot master a skill without dedicating hours. You cannot nurture relationships without spending meaningful moments. Time is the soil in which everything else grows, and how you treat it determines the harvest you will reap in your life. Waste your time and you waste your potential. Respect your time and you multiply your opportunities. And here's something we must all remember: time is the great equalizer. No matter where you come from, no matter your background, your wealth, or your education, every human being on this planet is given the same 24 hours a day. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who remain stuck is not about luck or talent alone. It is about how they use their time. Some choose to spend their hours chasing distractions, complaining, or postponing action. Others choose to use their hours building, learning, and moving forward. What you do with your 24 hours is the clearest reflection of what your future will look like. One of the greatest lies we tell ourselves every single day is the word later. We say, I will start later, I will try later, I will change later. We convince ourselves that the perfect time will come, that the right conditions will appear, and that somehow in the future we will magically have more motivation, more clarity, more discipline. But the truth is, later is nothing more than a comfortable illusion. It makes us feel safe in the moment, but in reality it silently steals the most important resource we have: time. Procrastination is not simply a habit, it is a thief dressed in comfort. When you say, I will start later, what you are really saying is, my dreams can wait, my goals can wait, my future can wait. And with every postponement, the gap between where you are and where you want to be grows wider. The most dangerous thing about procrastination is that it doesn't destroy your life in one day. It kills slowly, silently, piece by piece. You don't notice the damage immediately because you feel like you still have time. But one day, when you finally look back, You realize that the years have passed and the opportunities you once had are gone forever. Think of how many people had dreams in their 20s but said, "I'll start when I'm older." Then their 30s arrived and they said, "I'll start when I have more stability." Then their 40s came and they said, "I'll start when the children are grown." And then suddenly their 50s and 60s arrive and they say, "It's too late now." The cycle of later never ends until time itself runs out. Dreams don't die because they are impossible. They die because we keep delaying them until there is no energy or time left to bring them to life. You see, the idea of later feels attractive because it gives us a false sense of control. We think, "I can choose to wait, so I am in charge of my timing." But what we don't realize is that life doesn't stop while we delay. The world keeps moving forward, opportunities keep passing by, and other people who act quickly keep getting ahead. By the time you decide to finally act, the door you once had access to may no longer exist. Life does not wait for you simply because you are waiting for yourself. Let me give you an image to make this clear. Imagine you are standing at a train station, and a train comes with the destination you have always dreamed of reaching. But instead of stepping inside, you tell yourself, "I'll wait for the next one." The problem is, you don't know when the next train will come. Maybe it comes tomorrow, maybe it comes in 10 years, or maybe it never comes again. That is exactly what happens when you keep saying, "later." Opportunities are like trains. They don't wait for you, and they don't keep coming forever. The saddest part about delaying is that it becomes a habit. The more you say later, the easier it becomes to keep saying it. It turns into a lifestyle of postponement. You begin to train your mind to avoid discomfort, to seek ease, and to believe that the future will always be there for you. But the future is not a guarantee. None of us knows how many days we have left. What you can do today, you may never get the chance to do again tomorrow. And if you keep feeding yourself the lie of later, one day you will wake up realizing that later has stolen your now. The most successful people are not those who had perfect conditions, perfect timing, or endless resources. They are the ones who understood that waiting for later is a trap. They chose to act with whatever they had wherever they were, even when things weren't perfect, because they knew that imperfect action today is far more powerful than perfect action postponed to a tomorrow that may never come. Comfort is one of the most dangerous traps in life. On the surface, it feels safe, peaceful, and even deserved. After all, who doesn't enjoy relaxing after a long day, spending time in a routine that feels familiar, or staying in a place where there is no stress, no fear, no challenge? But comfort, when allowed to dominate your life, is not a gift. It is a slow poison. It doesn't kill you immediately. It kills your ambition, your hunger, and your drive. The danger of comfort is not that it makes you feel good in the moment, but that it slowly convinces you to settle for less than you are capable of becoming. Most people don't fail in life because they face huge obstacles. They fail because they become too comfortable. Think about it, comfort is easy. Comfort is predictable. Comfort is safe. But nothing extraordinary has ever been built inside the walls of comfort. Comfort tells you, "Stay here, you're fine, you don't need to push further." It whispers, "You've done enough, you can rest now," even when you haven't even scratched the surface of your potential. Comfort gives you permission to stop growing, and that is why it is so dangerous. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. If it never pushes against the dirt, if it never breaks through the hard ground, if it stays where it feels safe, it will never become a tree. Growth always requires discomfort. Muscles grow only when they are stretched and challenged. Skills improve only when you step beyond what you already know. Businesses expand only when risks are taken. Comfort is the enemy of growth because it convinces you to stay where you are instead of moving toward where you could be. The real problem with comfort is that it disguises itself as happiness. You feel good scrolling endlessly on your phone, sleeping a little longer, watching another episode, avoiding that hard task. But that pleasure is temporary, and beneath it lies regret. Deep inside, you know you are capable of more. You know you are meant for something greater. Yet comfort numbs that inner voice, making you believe that the easy road is enough. But years later, when you look back, you realize that comfort stole your time, your dreams, and your potential, leaving you with nothing but the pain of what could have been. Comfort zones are not just places of rest. They are prisons without visible walls. The longer you stay inside, the harder it becomes to break out. At first you feel safe. Then you begin to lose your hunger. Slowly your ambition fades. And before you know it, years have passed, and you are still in the same place, wondering why your life hasn't changed. Comfort doesn't just keep you still. It pushes you backwards, because while you are standing still, the world is moving forward. Look at the people you admire, the ones who achieve greatness. None of them built their success by staying comfortable. They sacrificed sleep, they endured criticism, they faced fear, they walked into uncertainty. They chose the path of discomfort because they knew that is where growth lies. They understood that the price of comfort today is regret tomorrow, and the price of discomfort today is freedom tomorrow. So the next time you feel tempted to settle into comfort, remind yourself that it comes at a cost. Every extra hour you waste in comfort is an hour stolen from the future you could be building. Every time you avoid discomfort, you are delaying your growth. And while comfort might feel good now, discomfort is the doorway to transformation. Life is full of opportunities, but here's the truth that most people ignore. Opportunities do not wait for you. They don't stop and knock on your door forever. They pass by quickly, and if you are not ready to take action, they will move on to someone else who is prepared. Too many people believe that life will always give them a second chance, that doors will always remain open, and that opportunities will keep returning until they feel comfortable enough to act. But life is not that patient. Opportunities are like passing trains. If you hesitate, if you wait, if you stand still, the train leaves, and once it's gone, it may never come back again. One of the greatest mistakes we make is thinking we have unlimited chances. People say, if I miss it now, I'll try later. But what if later never comes? What if the timing never repeats? What if the door you're ignoring today is the one door that could have changed your life forever? Opportunities are fragile. They don't knock twice in the same way. And when you realize this, you start to see how urgent it is to act when chances appear. Think of some of the greatest breakthroughs in history. They weren't created by people who waited for the perfect moment. They were created by people who saw a small opening and decided to act. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't have everything figured out, but they understood that opportunities don't wait until you feel ready. In fact, most opportunities appear before you are ready. They test whether you are willing to grow into them. If you wait until you feel 100% prepared, you will miss the chance because the window will already be closed. The world is full of stories of people who said, if only I had started earlier, if only I had taken that step, if only I had believed in myself when the chance was there. Regret is not born from failure, it is born from missed opportunities. Failure can teach you lessons and give you another shot, but a missed opportunity is gone forever. You cannot go back and reopen the same door. You can only look at it from a distance, wishing you had acted when the time was right. Opportunities don't announce themselves loudly. Sometimes they come disguised as hard work, sometimes as small chances that don't look important at first. A phone call you almost ignored, a person you almost didn't meet, an idea you almost didn't write down. These small moments often carry life-changing opportunities. But if you dismiss them, if you say, I'll deal with it later, you may never know what you lost. This is why hesitation is so costly. Life rewards those who act quickly, who are willing to take risks, who jump even when they feel fear. The longer you wait, the heavier your doubts become. Hesitation creates fear, and fear destroys opportunity. But boldness opens doors because opportunities recognize courage. When life presents you with a chance, you must move, even if you don't feel ready. Growth will meet you on the other side of action. Look at the people who succeed. They don't always have more talent than you. They don't always have more resources. But they do have one thing in common. They act when opportunities appear. They don't waste time waiting for the perfect conditions. Because they know that perfection doesn't exist. They take the chance. They stumble. They learn, they adapt, and eventually they grow into the opportunity. That is how doors lead to greater doors, and that is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary lives. So remember, this life is moving, the world is moving, and opportunities are moving too. They don't stand still. If you are not paying attention, if you are too distracted, if you are too afraid, they will slip away quietly and find someone else who is willing to step up. One of the biggest reasons people waste their time and never reach their true potential is not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, and not even because they lack resources. It is because they are distracted. We live in a world filled with endless noise, constant notifications, and never-ending temptations pulling at our attention every single second. And while distraction may feel harmless in the moment, its cost is massive. Distraction is not just stealing your minutes, it is stealing your focus, your energy, and ultimately your future. Think about this. Every time you open your phone to scroll without purpose, every time you let yourself get lost in gossip, every time you spend hours chasing meaningless entertainment, you are paying with the most valuable currency you have, your time. And the cruel truth is, you are not just paying once, you are paying twice. First, you pay with the hours you waste. Second, you pay with the opportunities you miss while being distracted. Time you spend distracted is time you could have spent building your skills, nurturing your health, investing in your relationships, or creating something meaningful for your life. The cost is not just the lost moment. It is the lost progress, the lost momentum, the lost future you could have created. Distraction also destroys one of the most important powers you have, your focus. Focus is like a laser beam. It can cut through obstacles, it can move you faster, it can turn your dreams into reality. But distraction scatters that focus into tiny fragments. Instead of moving powerfully in one direction, your mind jumps from one thing to another, never fully finishing, never fully committing, never fully creating. And here is the danger. The world does not reward half-hearted effort. Success belongs to those who are able to concentrate, who are able to give their full attention to what matters most, who are able to block out the noise and stay locked in on their vision. The modern world is designed to keep you distracted. Social media platforms are not free. They make money by keeping you addicted, by making you waste hours you can never get back. Notifications are not there to serve you. They are designed to pull you away from the things that matter, to train your brain to crave instant stimulation instead of long-term achievement. The more distracted you become, the weaker your ability to focus grows. It is like a muscle. The less you use it, the weaker it becomes. That is why so many people today find it hard to sit in silence, hard to read for even 30 minutes, hard to work deeply without reaching for their phone. Their focus has been eaten away by distraction, and the cost of that is enormous. But distraction doesn't just cost your time and focus, it also costs your identity. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you are teaching yourself who you are. You are reinforcing the belief that you are someone who avoids effort, who chooses easy pleasure over hard progress. Slowly, you become a person who settles for less, a person who wastes potential, a person who looks back with regret. That is the hidden cost of distraction. It shapes the person you are becoming, and often that person is far from the one you dreamed of being. And perhaps the greatest tragedy of distraction is how silently it robs you. If someone stole your wallet, you would be angry. If someone took away your car, you would fight to get it back. But when distraction steals your hours, your days, your years, most people don't even notice. They laugh it off. They say, it's just a little time. But add up those little moments, hours on social media, hours in gossip, hours of meaningless entertainment, and soon you realize you have given away entire years of your life. Years that could have been spent building, creating, growing, achieving. That is the true cost of distraction. Pressure is something that most people fear. The moment they feel stressed, the moment they feel the weight of responsibility, the moment life demands more from them, they immediately look for escape. They say, this is too hard, this is too much, I can't handle it. But what they don't realize is that pressure is not their enemy. It is their greatest ally. Pressure is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for the life you are capable of living. If you learn how to turn pressure into power, you will unlock one of the greatest forces of success. Think about how diamonds are formed. A diamond does not appear overnight. It begins as carbon, common and ordinary, but under intense pressure and heat over time, it transforms into something rare, precious, and nearly unbreakable. Without pressure, there would be no diamond. The same is true for you. Without the pressures of life, you remain ordinary, comfortable, unchanged. It is the pressure you face, the deadlines, the struggles, the expectations, the failures, that has the power to transform you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Pressure is the proof that you are being prepared for something greater. The reason many people waste time is because they avoid pressure. They avoid hard choices. They avoid responsibility. They avoid challenges that push them beyond their comfort zones. But in doing so, they also avoid growth. If you run from pressure, you run from your own potential. On the other hand, when you lean into it, when you embrace it, when you use it as fuel, you discover strengths you never knew you had. Pressure exposes your weaknesses, yes, but it also reveals your hidden strengths. It forces you to dig deeper, to think smarter, to work harder, and to rise higher. Consider the moments in your life when you grew the most. It was not during easy days. It was not when everything was comfortable. It was in the moments when you were pushed to your limits, when you had no choice but to fight, when you were forced to adapt. Maybe it was a tough exam you thought you couldn't pass, but you pushed through and succeeded. Maybe it was a financial struggle where you had to get creative to survive. Maybe it was a personal challenge that demanded more from you than you thought possible. Those were the moments when pressure turned into power, when it shaped you into someone better than you were before. The truth is, pressure is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are growing. It means life is testing you, stretching you, and preparing you. Too many people think they need less pressure to be happy, but what they really need is the ability to use pressure to their advantage. The weight you feel is not punishment, it is potential. It is life's way of saying, you are ready for more, but you must prove it through your actions. And here is the key: pressure only breaks you if you resist it. If you see pressure as a burden, it will crush you. But if you see it as an opportunity, it will strengthen you. The same weight that can break a weak person can build a strong one. It all depends on how you choose to respond. Pressure can paralyze you, or it can energize you. It can make you quit, or it can make you unstoppable. The difference lies in your mindset. When you start to see pressure as a gift, you stop running from it. You begin to welcome the deadlines, the challenges, the responsibilities, because you know they are shaping you into someone greater. You realize that the moments when you feel the most pressure are often the moments that prepare you for your biggest breakthroughs. Every tomorrow you dream of begins with what you do today. The life you want, the success you imagine, the freedom you desire, they are not waiting for you in some distant future. They are being built right now, brick by brick, through the actions you take in this very moment. Too often people waste their today while fantasizing about a better tomorrow. They say, one day I will be successful. One day I will be disciplined. One day I will achieve my goals. But the truth is, tomorrow is nothing more than the result of today's decisions. If you want a better tomorrow, you must act now. Every action you take today is like planting a seed. Some seeds are small. Choosing to read a few pages, choosing to work an extra hour, choosing to exercise, choosing to learn instead of being distracted. Others are bigger. Starting that business idea, committing to a project, taking a risk that moves you forward. Each seed matters because the harvest you will enjoy tomorrow depends entirely on what you plant today. The tragedy is that most people keep dreaming about the harvest while refusing to plant the seeds. They want the result without the action, the reward without the effort, the success without the discipline. But the universe does not work that way. You cannot build a strong future if your present is filled with wasted time. Think about a student preparing for an exam. If they wait until the night before to start studying, they can't expect the same results as the one who invested small but consistent hours every single day. Life is no different. Success is not built in a single night of effort, but in the daily choices that accumulate over time. If you act now, if you consistently take steps forward, your tomorrow will be brighter. If you waste today, your tomorrow will be filled with regret. The reason acting now is so powerful is because action creates momentum. When you take even the smallest step, you break the cycle of hesitation, fear, and procrastination. You send a message to yourself that your dreams matter, that your goals are real, that your future is worth fighting for. Momentum then builds upon itself. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you are running in the direction of your dreams. But if you wait for tomorrow to act, you lose momentum before you even begin. You start the habit of delay, and delay is the slow death of progress. It is important to understand that acting now doesn't mean you need to be perfect or fully prepared. Many people waste precious time waiting for the right conditions. They say, I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I feel ready. I'll start when everything is lined up. But that day never comes, because life will never hand you perfect conditions. The perfect time to act will always be now. Even if you don't have it all figured out, even if you feel scared, even if you feel unqualified, taking imperfect action today is far better than taking no action at all. The path reveals itself as you move. Growth comes as you act, not as you wait. And here's something powerful to remember: your future self is depending on you. 10 years from now, you will either thank yourself for the actions you took today, or you will regret the time you wasted. Imagine looking back and realizing that you could have built a better life, if only you had started when you had the chance. That is the weight of acting now. You are not just making choices for today, you are shaping the life you will live tomorrow. So when you feel the urge to delay, remind yourself that your dreams are not built in the future, they are built in the present. Every small action today is a step toward freedom, success, and fulfillment tomorrow. Your future depends entirely on your ability to act now. So let me remind you of what we have uncovered together. Time is the most valuable treasure you possess, more precious than money, because once it is gone, it never returns. Yet most people waste it under the illusion of later, believing they can delay their dreams without realizing that each postponement silently robs them of their future. Comfort may feel safe, but it is a trap that keeps you small, convincing you to settle while your potential waits untouched. Opportunities will not stand still for you. They come and go quickly, and if you do not act, they will belong to someone else. Distractions may seem harmless, but their cost is enormous. They eat away at your focus, your progress, and eventually your very identity. Pressure, instead of being feared, must be embraced, because it is the very force that transforms weakness into strength, just as carbon becomes diamond. And above all, every tomorrow you dream of is being shaped right now by the choices you make today. The truth is simple: you do not have unlimited time. None of us do. The days you waste will never return, and the dreams you delay will never chase you back. If you want a life of freedom, success, and meaning, you must stop waiting, stop wasting, and stop hiding. You must act. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because the greatest pain is not failure, it is regret. The regret of knowing you could have done more, could have been more, could have lived more, but you chose to let time slip through your hands. Your time is your life. Guard it, protect it, invest it in what truly matters. Every second you spend with discipline, every moment you spend in growth, every action you take with courage, it all compounds into a future you will be proud of. Do not let time be the thief of your destiny. Make it your greatest ally. Act now. Build tomorrow. And when the future arrives, you will not just look back with pride. You will stand tall knowing you lived fully, fought bravely, and used your time wisely to create a life that mattered.